the road. She's absolutely losing her shit. They get into some kind of physical altercation in the parking lot. They arrived home, but before they even get back, they start screaming and yelling in the parking lot. Tally said that China had run up to him. He said that she bit his lip. He slapped her in the face. They were both going back and forth. When anger breaks a barrier into violence, people don't know what to do. And it just escalates from there. If you have a partner that is completely out of control at this point, no matter how upset or angry you are, if you can try to be the bigger person, try to de-escalate this. Because when you reach that level of violence, whether you're involved or not, it will escalate. She then goes inside. Another thing to mention too is she's incredibly inebriated at this point. What I think happened was they got into an argument. She got into a highly emotional state. She could not control herself. She did not try to control herself, and she certainly couldn't control herself when she was drunk. Afterwards, when they breached the door of violence on each other, her mind switches to, I will now express my anger with violence. I think that she also felt some resentment towards the child. She might have felt like these feelings wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this. She's in a state of complete irrationality. So what China does next is she goes inside. Tally is not there. He's away. And she takes her 28-day-old daughter, Paris Tally, and puts the child in the microwave. She not only put the child in the microwave, she set a timer and she hit start. And she let it happen. That microwave ran for 2 minutes. Light came on in the microwave. The sounds had to have been terrifying. A crackling, a popping, a child screaming as their internal organs reached critical temperatures. I cannot express enough how people always have a choice for their actions, no matter what state you're in. But when you are hearing all of those sounds, I can't imagine not stopping it. But she didn't. There's a couple of sources that came through when we read the court documents, because obviously China's not going to be honest about what exactly happened. The forensic report says that after the child was in the microwave for 2 minutes and she removed the baby, they probably died within minutes or seconds, unable to handle the internal temperatures. That's what the forensics say. Well, China says she took the baby out of the microwave, went to bed that night. According to her, she said she took the child to the hospital. She died, and then she went home. I don't think anybody's gonna buy that. Another story that came up afterwards too was from Tally himself. Maybe he felt some kind of regret. At one point, China actually says during the case, her kid's father said that if the baby wasn't his, that he was leaving her and was more concerned about the baby not being his than anything in the world. And that was what she was most concerned about. China took it upon herself to microwave the one thing in the situation that everything was contingent on. Well, afterwards, Tally went to court and he told them what actually happened. This is the most ridiculous shit that I've ever heard. The story afterwards that Tally told was that the neighbor, a boy, came to the house, put the baby in the microwave at 10 o'clock at night, and Tally's son came and found the baby the next day and took it out of the microwave. Those are the three versions of events of what happened. You know, personally, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the last two are bullshit and they don't make any sense. A doctor actually examined China Arnold and said that she suffered from a low-grade depressive condition and there was absolutely no reason for this attack. Later, China said that she was incredibly inebriated and she was really sorry. I mean, so many people were interested in this case because it's so shocking, and my God, it really is. But what else is wild to me is this is a case of emotional dysregulation that led to anger, which then led to violence. I think she did regret it later, but probably because she was incredibly humiliated. Emotional dysregulation can be anything. It can be absolutely anything. And I think one thing to be mindful of is when you hit that level of panic when you're dysregulated, because that's what happens. The anxiety essentially morphs into panic. Panic is a full body emotion. And when our body feels panic, we do anything and everything in our power to take control of that panic. And what happens next stems from your learned behaviors. Have you learned to control panic and being out of control by getting angry? Have you let that anger escalate into violence so you feel more control of the panic? Or when you feel panic, do you scream and cry to get your way? Or do you break down and cry because you're overwhelmed and too many people are around you? Or do you emotionally shut down and exit the situation? There's a lot of reactions to panic and emotional regulation, and I just suggest to everyone, take a look at yourself and how you deal with things, because if you're a person that resorts to anger and violence, you might surprise yourself with what you do one day.